Hey Ram fam, it's time for Ram Zone. Here's your host, Cam Allen.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Ram Zone. I took a little trip last week. I didn't get to do the show last week, but we're back. And this week we're going to be here with Coach Alesha Ellis. We're going to have her on the show today. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
Hi. And how are you doing today?
We're doing good.
I know we're in off season, probably the least stressful part of your year. And so far we're doing good, but we open the season November 8th in Colorado.
Yes.
How do we feel about starting on the road?
Yeah, the preseason always gets to that point where you're ready to play somebody else. So, there are things that we want to perfect by that first game, but at the same time, we want to play against somebody else so it can't get here quick enough.
And so starting off in Colorado, you take trips. Last year, you were telling me that you were in Hawaii, Montana. Whenever you're not playing basketball and y'all have a little downtime, what's usually the team bonding per se that y'all get done?
We do a lot of different things. We try to incorporate just bonding away from basketball. So our bonding it has nothing to do with basketball. But like in Hawaii, we were able to go to a luau. We gave them time on the beach, and they also got to climb a mountain. They went to Pearl Harbor. So for them to be able to see that history was really nice. And then here we love Halloween. And so we do like a scavenger hunt. We have 11 new bodies this year. And one way for them to get familiar with the town and the city and the people is to do kind of a scavenger hunt and bring out the history about the team. And we're looking forward to that.
And you talk about having 11 new faces and you'll have 6 returning.
Yeah.
What type of challenge or what's the most exciting part about having an entirely new team?
Yeah, I think it's just fresh. We get to start from the ground up, and not only that, we get to kind of mold those young ones into the type of players that we want them to be and help them to be comfortable in our system. I'll be honest, it really helps to have that good core come back. Yeah. Those guys have taken a leadership role to help the new ones and the younger ones. And so I really feel like we're off to a great start, and our IQ seems higher this year. Mm-hmm. They're catching on a little bit quicker to things, and that's exciting for sure.
And we talk about the returners, and it's fun having all these new faces come in. And you lost some great players, but I want to point out too, Sawyer Lloyd and Tay McGee-Pleasant. Mm-hmm. They're gone now. They were your 2 leaders.
Right.
Who's going to step up in those spots?
I am very proud of our returners. They turned, they have come back even better than I ever thought they would. And so I think that they have personally taken that challenge and stepped up. They know who's missing. They know that we graduated some great players. And, each one of them, even little MJ, she was an energy ball in practice. And so that was one of the things I was worried about coming back in is who's going to bring the energy to practice, And so they know what they were missing. And then obviously Sawyer and Tay brought they were just dominant. And I feel like our players have returned and taken that role. Maddie Stevens is one of them. She's been a great leader in talking to the team. Landry Morrow has been great, and Briley Murkett. We've got Naya has been showing up every day like a new player. So she's going to be very exciting to watch. She's 6'4", so there's things that she can do that you can't coach, but she's a different player. And I think that, part of that comes from her knowing that Tay's not there anymore and someone's going to have to fill that role. And she's done a nice job of it.
And bringing in all these new faces, I was able to look at you at Midnight Madness. We heard there was a player from Hungary and Nigeria, I believe.
Yes.
What's it like recruiting players from like those places?
I'll be honest, I don't recruit much from international places, but when we do get them in, we take on the whole experience. So I'm always, asking like, what's your favorite food? What are you missing over there? What do you do for fun? What's life like back at home? And we had one of them that our Mek, we call her Mek. She's from Nigeria. She just cooked us a little meal that she likes to cook back at home, and it was So some of it's too much for me, but some of it I like. So.
And so whenever you're bringing in players like that, really putting the cultures together, I know you said you haven't recruited a lot internationally. What is that like for you getting to learn about those cultures?
Yeah, I do think that they kind of bring their own style. I will say, I don't know if you've seen Mech, but she is built different. She is very, very strong, and she can just rebound the ball really well. And she's only been playing for 2 years. And so, yeah, that's an interesting fact. And we brought her on this team just because we felt like, it's going to be a project, but the kid's potential is sky high. And I think that, the more that we spend time with her, she's going to get better and better. But she can also just kind of jump and hang on the rim and do pull-ups. Like, we don't have anybody to do that kind of stuff. And so we're going to be simplifying the game for her and using her with her strengths. And then Betty, too, she brings a lot to the table. She's from Hungary. Her length is in itself is going to be really valuable when everything gets put in place. She's going to have to be on the court, because in our scrimmage the other day, she did really good. She did a really nice job. So we're also talking about recruiting. We got to international, and I know you had to recruit in a bunch of new players this year. I wanted to talk about, I saw you brought in 2 sisters from up in Washington, I believe, Taylor and Haley Flores. What's it like getting to bring in sisters? Yeah, that was a great package deal for us, and we're finding that to be true every day. They are a great pair. That one of them is a junior and one of them's a sophomore, and the other one had a few red shirts, and so they're only 1 year playing wise apart. Taylor is a very, very good shooter. A few years ago, she led all D2 in 3-point shots made. And so that's what we were looking for. We needed a 3-point shooter. And then Haley, her sister, was her point guard. And so they were both looking for a place to play. They've been through the ringer as far as their collegiate careers. They have been through hell and back, and we want to make sure, and this is what I told them, we just want to make sure that their careers end on a good note with a bang. And we want to make sure that we're being who we need to be for those guys, and they are very valuable. They can do a lot of things, and I want them to be a part of a program that is winning.
And in the recruiting process, we bring them to Angelo State. We've got all the facilities. We've got the coaches. How easy is it to sell this place?
Oh, man. I love it. And I will tell you, in the last place that I was at, I think like our Super Walmart was the best thing that was in town. So I will say it's a lot easier to recruit here than it was there. But yeah, of course, number one, the people here take those guys in like their own, and you don't get that everywhere. They call this, I think they call it the biggest little city in Texas or something like that. And the fact that they have a lot to offer as far as, you got to have a Chick-fil-A, because these girls aren't going to come if there's no Chick-fil-A. And it just offers different restaurants and different stores that they're familiar with. But then also you get to the campus, and that just kind of seals the deal. The facilities are out of, the world. Like they're the best of the best. And I think, we can compete in that with anybody in the nation. And then also, they love family oriented. And, if you were to ask every single one of those girls what they want most, it's that. It's the family feeling, and just to be accepted and understood.
And then we talk about making it feel like a family here. We had Midnight Madness, I guess, might have been 2 weeks ago by now. And we had people, just alumni in the area.
Absolutely.
College students.
Yes.
What's it like, Midnight Madness, for y'all?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for us to connect with the outside, with the people who are in the community. And then also, we have some other sports that come. And that, too, is something that is unique and valuable at this place is, every sport succeeds. They're winning teams. And that in itself says a lot about the school. And the fact that those teams are supporting men's basketball and women's basketball means a lot to us.
And so you're talking about how we have winning cultures here in each sport. You're in the Janelle Center. That's where all the most of the coaches at least have their offices. What's it like being able to just go around the corner, maybe talk to another coach with maybe some insight on a problem you may be having?
Yeah, I think that's valuable. I think we all do that with each other. And, even though they're different sports, you're still going through the same things with certain individuals and certain players. And so, and then it's all the business side of things, like what, we're asking, what did you do here and how are you going to solve this problem? And that is nice because I'm not having to go across campus to find those answers, but they too are competitive. So they know my competitive side. They can talk to me because they know what I'm going through. So.
And we talk about the competitive side, the 3-point contest. Y'all have had it for the last 3 years now.
Yes.
With Coach Patel. This year y'all tied. We tried to do a tiebreaker, but it never ended.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a tie. I wish it was. I think I lost by 1. My girls were trying to take up for me, but I think Vinay had won, or Coach Patel had won that fair and square. So, but I'm getting better. I just need a warm up. If I can warm up, I'm going to get him.
So next year we're going to get warmed up.
Absolutely. Yep.
But we go back.
It drives me crazy to lose. I don't like that.
And talking about it, maybe when you were playing in your days, you weren't the best 3-point shooter?
At times I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it didn't matter for you as you're the 8th all-time leading scorer at Texas Tech. How is that?
I'll go back to me just being very competitive, and I don't know what it was, but every time I stepped on the floor, I felt like I could compete with anybody. And not only that, but beat them. And I wanted to do whatever it was that was going to help our team win. And they did recruit me to be a 3-point shooter, but I no longer have it. I know I haven't shot in a while. When I was doing that kind of stuff, I was shooting every day, making a lot.
Well, these days,
hundreds of them.
You've got to worry about your players.
Yeah, that's right. I don't shoot near as much as I used to.
But starting at Texas Tech, you were coach. Your coach was Marcia Sharp. And what's it like being able to have her as a mentor?
Oh, man, it's priceless. I'll tell you that because, after I graduated, she could have just said, all right, go get on with your life. But she's been here every day for me. Even when I wasn't coaching, she was there for me, guiding me through my life and just kind of being a life coach after that. And, of course, if I face any trouble at any point in the coaching world, I go to her. She's one of the very first that I go to, and she's always got a great answer and knows exactly what to say, which is nice to have. And, what I think one of the biggest problems that I face is, well, which battle am I going to pick, choose to fight? Am I going to fight this battle? Should I even worry about it? Should I move on to this one? And she's got really good insight to that. So.
And talking, she was able to help you. And how did the way she recruited you, does that have any effect on how you recruit players now?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. And I do. I look for certain things in players that I want to surround our team with, and then I can sprinkle in the parts that we need, but doesn't quite fit that mold.
And so when you're recruiting, I know a lot of coaches around here, they say, we look for the attitude maybe over what they can do. How big is that for you? Yeah,
I think it's huge, especially on the women's side. We always talk about adversity and how you react to it. I mean, that determines everything. It 99% of the time determines if you win the game or not. And you're going to face that here. We're in one of the toughest, if not the toughest, conferences in the nation. And so you're going to have those battles day in and day out. You can't take a day off, and they're going to steal the ball from us 4 times in a row. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. But we've got to make sure that we're responding right. We don't want one mistake to lead to the other. And I think that all comes from attitude. You have got the game's too hard to have a bad attitude. It's already too hard without that. And so that too is being a good teammate. And we want our players to be surrounded with great teammates to help them get through those hard times.
And in your coaching career, I'm sure you've been around a bunch of great players. You started at Wayland Baptist collegiately, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Won a few coaches of the year in their conference. And then right after COVID, you came to Angelo State, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What was that move like, especially right after COVID and everything?
Yeah, it wasn't easy to leave Wayland. My dad passed away in 2020, so that year, and they had put out a bench in his name right in front of the gym. Really, really kind to, and he did graduate from there, but our roots are there. Like my family's roots are there. And so, of course, Wayland meant a lot to me and the Flying Queens. I grew up watching those guys. They were the best in the world, but wanted to be able to leave my legacy there. And, there comes a point where, you want to challenge yourself as well. And not that that wasn't a challenge, but we wanted to take on a bigger role and see where God leads us. And, I've always said that, if God leads us in a certain direction, even though it's hard, we got to go. And that's what we felt when we came and visited Angelo State. I had told Andy, I want to be here. And I don't care who else is offering us the job. This is the place for us. And I did think that it was good that we got out of the area code. We had been there all our lives. And so, we played basketball in Lubbock, and I grew up in Plainview. He grew up in La Mesa. And so it was nice to be able to get out and experience new things, because I think if you go to different places, you gain a lot of knowledge. And I felt like this was a great opportunity for us. And of course, the winning atmosphere that was here, I really felt, and then the girls returning. So we looked at the girls who were returning on the team, and that was a spotlight for sure for us. And we felt like we could turn it.
And I know your first year here, you got off to a bit of a rough start. I know that. Don't even bring that up. But you turned it around 15-5 to end the season.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like after that rough start to turn it around like that?
Hey, I've never been 0-8 before in my life. Player, coach, any of it. And so it was a dark place. I'm not going to say that everything was we just knew, because we didn't. The unknown is very scary. But I did grow, and I think our staff grew. I think our players grew through that dark time. And they always say, you're not going to grow if everything's just peachy all the time. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. It did challenge us as coaches to kind of mix and match. We weren't able to bring in there were a lot of players that we had not recruited at the time. And so you weren't recruiting to your offense. So it made us put in some different offenses that would allow them to be who they were as players. And I think that helped us grow a lot. And then the other valuable lesson that I learned throughout that stretch was I can't try to be somebody else. And if I go try to be somebody else as a coach, it's going to go to crap really fast. And so, we stuck with what we knew, and that's hard to do. When you're 0-8, you want to start changing everything. Oh crap, we're doing this, and second guessing yourself. But again, with my mentor's help, they're saying, no, you know what's right. You've got to stick with it, and you got to pound it in their heads every day. And the other side of that flip was you got to have the players that'll buy into what you're saying. And they were. So I felt a little bit better, because I was able to see small battles in practice that we were winning. And it finally started carrying over to the games, and we were on the other side of things. Chemistry is everything. You got to get rid of toxicity.
I've never really thought about it. You came in, all the players you're coaching, you did not recruit. But what's that like? What challenge is that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is you got to get them in a situation or an area where you can get to know them, take them to go get coffee or something like that. And getting to know them as a person is number one, because you know how they're going to tick. You're calling coaches, their parents, how'd you get this girl to clean her room? All this stuff, trying to figure out how to motivate them to do things. And then once you figure that out, gaining respect is important. You got to make sure that they know that you're all in with them and that you believe in them and you want them to do this certain thing. And I think that in return, you get that respect back, and that's where it's going to start flipping.
And so we talked about it. You came here. Your assistant coach is your husband, Mr. Andy Ellis. A great guy.
Mm-hmm.
But what's that like having your assistant coach be your husband?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. And, I think it's just like marriage. He's going to fill in all my weaknesses. And I think that we do a good job of that. And it's just like everyday life at home. We got 2 kids at home that we always say, all right, we're going, we're going to go man to man, not zone. So let's not have another kid because then we're in zone. And we work together well at home, but not only there at work. And, even though he wasn't my assistant 3 or 4 years ago, however, no, it wasn't that because I've been here it was about 5 years. Time flies. I lose track. But he was there helping me, just behind the scenes and helping us figure things out. And so at some point I was just like, well, why don't you just be my assistant? And it's worked out really well since then. I'm not saying there has not been any battles. We go at it at times and we argue about a few things, but overall it's been very good.
You talk about time flying. I can't believe I've already been here 4 years.
I know, this is my 4th, so can't believe it. But
Coach Ellis, you and your husband, is there ever a struggle of maybe not taking things home from the team?
Oh, we're bad at that. It just follows us everywhere we go. We try to, separate especially with our kids and be 100% in with them when we're with them. And we do a good job of that part. But, over dinner and stuff, especially during the season, we're always thinking about how to make our team better. And we try to integrate our own children in on that process, just so we're not totally ignoring them. But I can guarantee you, I think Kingston could tell you everything we did right and wrong the next day after our games because we're just sitting there talking about it all the time. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not so good. But it is very difficult to not take our and on the other side you've got, when those players come to college, you're their parents at that point. And Andy and I take that role with our players, filling in what they need. And so you may get a phone call at midnight saying, hey, I need some medicine or whatever it is, and they're yours at that point.
And you talked about your own kids there for a second. I know you have them doing games right now and you're about to get into your season.
Yeah.
I just want to know, your kids are 4 and 7 now.
Yes. Yep.
How are their sports going?
Oh, hey, they're competitive. I'll tell you that much. That at this point, they're more competitive with each other than probably the other team. They're always fighting over the same toy, and it could be a stick. It's the most random thing, and they're fighting over it. But as far as their sports go, Kingston's got the football bug. He loves football. Lakin loves soccer. And they are enjoying those sports. I'm trying to get them to like basketball, but Kingston's kind of in that stage where whatever season it is, that's his favorite sport. But football's been the most consistent. He's really wanting to be an NFL player. So.
Well, if he turns out like you and your husband, he's going to be pretty tall.
He's going to be big.
He'll have a pretty good chance there.
And then he has those days where he wakes up and he wants to be a bull rider, and I don't have the heart to tell him that he may be a little bit too long for that.
Okay, that's a dangerous one there. But we were talking about your first season here where we were 15-13. Then the next year, was it the 26-7?
Yes, I think so. Yep.
How was that jump right there?
Oh, man, it was so good because, again, you go back to that beginning of the season when you first got here and you look at the players and how they're growing both on and off the floor, and that's just reassuring as a coach. Honestly, that's what keeps me in the job, is to see the players improve like that. And so there's a lot to be said about success after you go through those hard times, and just knowing that we're finally getting it and buying into all of that stuff. And so it was really nice. Yeah. And then to see all their hard work pay off and win the championship, the conference championship was nice.
And you had a top regional seed that year.
Mm-hmm.
And a really deep run that year.
Yes.
But then the following year, which was this past year, I don't want to be negative, but it wasn't up to the year before.
Absolutely. I don't think that anyone can say that they lived up to anybody's expectations just because we returned most of the team. This past year, you've got to learn how to win. You've got to learn how to be successful. And that in itself is, that's a skill. And I'm hoping that, the ones that are returning have learned that skill and they can lead the younger ones now in knowing that. But part of that is being consistent. You're not going to, I think we were picked number 1 to win the conference last year. That doesn't mean anything. The preseason doesn't mean anything. And what you have to do, though, is you've got to be able to play with the target on your back. And some handle that well and some didn't. You can't have so much pressure that you can't play your game. And you've got to stop worrying about what you're ranked and what people think about you. And no, there's no team, just because you were ranked 1, there's no team that's going to lay down for you. They're going to be after you. It's the opposite. And so no matter what was being thought last year, it comes down to just winning every day, and you got to do what it takes to win. And I felt like we were very inconsistent with that.
And last year, I thought it was something interesting. Y'all's last 3 games were the same team. UTPB. Y'all had.
No, that's tough.
What type of challenge is that?
Oh man, it's so hard to play the same team 2 or 3 times, and I'm sure every coach that comes and talks to you is going to say the same thing, because they go through that. And that's one negative, I guess, about being at this level, is you have to do that. In NAIA, you played. It was it's set up differently. But what that is going to do is it's going to show you who the best team is. And so no matter who you're playing, whether it's the same team 3 times in a row or whatever it is, you've got to be able to beat them that many times in order to move on. So
that's a tough challenge to ask right there. But I wanted to get into this year. A lot of new faces. What are you seeing the most out of your team going into this new season?
Yeah, I think that the IQ is higher this year. Hard workers, of course. They're hungry to go win. We have that core group that I don't, you mentioned earlier, I don't think they were satisfied with last year. I think they came in with a chip on their shoulder. The new ones are coming in and they're pushing those returners to be better. And so that's a good sign. I think we're healthy this year. We wanted to bring in competition, and that's what we've done. In our practices, if you go see those, they're way more competitive. They're pushing each other. And I think that in itself is making us a better team. I think the ball is moving well this year. And defensively, we've got quicker feet. So it's a good thing.
So going into this year, you're going to see a more defensive team out there?
Yeah, I think we're more versatile on the defensive side. I think that we can throw different defenses and different presses that will make us very hard to play against. You're going to see us changing defenses within a possession, which we've not been able to do yet.
And what type of game would you rather see out of your team? One where you might win 52-48 or a 90-85?
I just want to win.
That's fair.
Yeah, okay. I want to be at least 1 point ahead of that other team.
Because I know there's some coaches, they want to get in those defensive battles because they know they can get those out.
So I will tell you, if it's 90-85, I probably won't be happy with our defense. That's not a good thing. So, but we spend most of our time on the defensive end in practice. So we are defensive coaches.
And so coming up, we talked about you're starting in Colorado. Do you already have some plans for the team when you get up there?
You know what? I don't, but we're going to figure something out. The other coaches have been telling us that there's been some cool things that we can do over there. And so we go twice. Yeah. We go to Denver twice this year. So if we don't hit something this time, then we'll catch them at Christmas. And I've heard it's very pretty at Christmas time in Denver.
I know the Red Rocks are a big attraction whenever the snow starts falling.
Yep.
But Coach, you got about 20 seconds. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I just appreciate everybody's support, and please come catch a game if you can.
First home game should be
November 21st against Adams State.
Here at home. That'll be our first home game of the season. And I just want to thank everybody for watching this week's episode of Ram Zone. We had Coach Alesha Ellis here. I hope to see you next Monday. I'm Cameron Allen, and y'all have a good one.